Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thursday night, I'm just chilling. Hope you guys are grinding forward, staying on your programs, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. If anybody happens to want coaching or mentoring, just go to my website, skyazrael.com. Or you can find me on social media. Just search my name, send me a friend's request, whatever. The truth hurts. It can. Have you ever had somebody give you some painful truth? It just didn't feel good. Maybe they told you in a blunt way, they weren't trying to pull any punches, and oh, it stung. But if you're lucky, maybe you've used that pain from that truth to move you forward. That became your inspiration. I'll tell you two stories about it. Both that involve me, but one that was my inspiration, I'll tell you about somebody else's inspiration. So, the painful truth that inspired me came years ago when I started my motorcycle shop, Sinister City Motorcycles. We started in Los Angeles in the year 2001. But before that, I was just buying bikes, flipping bikes, getting into projects. And one of the very first bikes that I got, I don't know if it was the first one, but it was the first one I wanted to customize, was a little Yamaha 535 Virago. I forget what year. Little V-twin cruiser, shaft drive. I like chain better. I don't really like shaft drive bikes, but just because it looks more classic. But it was a cool little bike. And it was bone stock, and I wanted to do something to it because it wasn't that cool. I wanted to make it a little bobber. But I didn't know how to do anything. I wasn't very project oriented or mechanically inclined. I was just some kid from the ghetto who didn't have any money. So I searched around for different motorcycle shops all over the city. And nobody would help me with this project, and I wanted to put some handlebars on it and to do something with the fenders, and I had a couple ideas. Nobody would help me because it was a Yamaha. But everybody was fairly nice to me, and no, sorry, sir. I finally found out about like these custom motorcycle shops because I was just going to regular repair shops. And I found out about this guy Russell Mitchell from Exile Cycles, and he was up in Ventura. I believe it was Ventura, a little north of me anyways, but I was in LA. And he was the Mohawk guy, had pretty cool bikes. And I called him on the phone and talked to him, and it wasn't pleasant. It started off nice enough, and as soon as he found out what kind of bike it was, he was all into it until he found out what kind of bike it was. And I was excited, and I was like, well, this is going to be great. I don't know how much this is going to cost, but this is going to be awesome. He found out it was a Yamaha, and he was like, hell no. I have a reputation to uphold, and he was against it. I tried to talk him into it. I gave him a second and third effort. He batted those away. He was not trying to mess with me or my bike. I don't know if he hung up on me, but it might have been. I was mad at him. And I was like, you're British. You grew up riding these kinds of bikes. I mean, come on, dude. And he was like, fuck no. I don't want to touch your bike. I don't want it in my shop. I want to have nothing to do with it. And he wasn't like real sweet or comforting or letting me down easy. And I was mad. I was mad at him. So I went out and started messing with my bike. My brother had a motorcycle that he had just bought and then crashed. He crashed it right away. So he's trying to put it back together so he can get to work. And I go out there and start messing with my bike. Over the next day or so, I accomplished my little bobber creation with pretty much using the hatred of Russell Mitchell and Exile Cycles in the conversation as my drive. And I don't know if I was so much mad at him or if I was just frustrated that nobody would help me, not even a custom motorcycle shop. I just felt like, well, fuck, I'm gonna have to do this myself, and I didn't want to. I didn't know what I was doing. And I ended up building a pretty cool little bike. I have pictures somewhere. Oh, they're in the shop. My neighbor, who is this Haitian dude about my age, he used to run like a taxi service on a motorcycle. So he'd have 5 or 6 people on his motorcycle, 3 in front, 2 in front, 3 in back, riding in the rain down muddy roads through Haiti. So he knew about bikes, and he would peep out the window at what I was up to, especially with this project. And he came out and gave me some encouragement and was like, you know, that's really a piece of artwork is what you've done. And he was also impressed with how my brother had gotten his bike back together after an accident, pretty bad accident, and really encouraged us to start our own motorcycle shop, and we did. And it wasn't his positivity, although, I mean, it was kind of that, but for 20 years now, I've accredited Russell Mitchell from Exile Cycles and that son of a bitch, that conversation that I had with that jerk, as being the reason why I started my motorcycle shop. And I've even told him this, and he didn't remember the conversation, but he was like, hey bro, I'm glad that you did something with that instead of turning into a supervillain, or instead of just not doing it, just keep a stock bike. I'm so glad that you not only did the bike that you wanted, but then it turned into a whole life for you. I'll tell you another one. So it was several years later, and I still had my motorcycle shop, but I had moved the motorcycle shop from California to Florida, and that's a whole nother story of why, but we moved it across country. That's a long ways to move a shop. Sometimes you move a shop down the street to another side of town. We moved it across country to a place we'd never been before. I didn't know anybody in Daytona. I didn't have any family. No, I did have some family at that time down in Palm Beach, but they've since then moved up to Atlanta. Nonetheless, we were set up in Florida. I was pretty much rocking and rolling, getting in magazines, and Florida was different than LA. And we did well here, especially when we first started off. And I had a lot of different things going. I had a retail clothing store, had the motorcycle shop, had a promotion company promoting bands all over Central Florida, industrial goth and heavy metal and stuff like that. And there was this kid who was doing airbrushing, much younger than me. He had just got out of prison, nice enough guy. And he'd come by it was the retail store, that's right, it wasn't the shop. He'd come by the retail store, the clothing store. And he was showing me t-shirts that he had airbrushed up, and he asked me one time if I would allow him to get in on one of our bike projects, because we would always have bikes airbrushed, and I used some of the best airbrushers in Central Florida. And I was proud of that, and I would brag about that. The best. These guys are the best of the best. Top notch. And then here's this guy who's doing this crap. He showed me this t-shirt, and it was awful, and I told him straight to his face. I didn't pull any punches. I didn't say it in a sweet, nice, politically correct way. I said, that sucks. Your artwork sucks. No, you can't do a bike for us. You suck. He was heartbroken. And he went away mad. He was mad about it. And I knew a couple of his friends, and I guess he talked about it, and they were defensive because he was upset, and they kind of came at me like, why were you that way? And I just defended myself. Hey, look, he's not good enough. I'm fucking with the best. This guy, he sucks. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you like it is. Get better, and then maybe I will fuck with you. But nobody liked hearing that shit. Maybe I should have been nicer. I should have lied. Oh, you're great. Should have let him do some bike. And then just had it redone. As soon as he leaves, go and spray paint it flat black and get somebody else to do it. I don't know. But I was honest, and it was painful to him. Well, we didn't see him again. He went his own way. My brother caught up with him somewhere about 2 years later. This kid must have spent every waking hour with hatred in his heart over me. Fuck Sky, painting his little heart out, because he became amazing. He turned into an amazing airbrusher, like really amazing. I'm not saying it's all my credit, but this guy took that inspiration, that painful truth, and it inspired him to keep going. It didn't crush his dreams. I didn't destroy his dreams. Luckily, I'm glad I didn't. Just like Russell Mitchell, the Exhaust Cycles dude, he didn't destroy my dreams of having a custom Yamaha. It only made it happen even quicker, cheaper, and better. The way that happened was meant to be in my eyes. Looking back on it, I wouldn't have it any other way. And the airbrusher kid's the same way. He wasn't trying to be buddies with me. He may still be like, fuck Sky, because I was rude to him, but without somebody being honest with him and telling him, you're just not there. You're not anywhere near it. That gave him the inspiration to go get busy. Food for thought.